At the time of recording this video, we're only a few days away from the release of Frontiers. Between all of the gameplay previews and seeing the occasional leak on Twitter, I've personally loved everything I've seen, and I see a lot of people echoing the same, but I also see the tweets and replies of people who just want to tear the game to shreds already. I think there's a fair share of criticism that is valid, like concerns about the technical sides of the game, like pop-in or frame stability. Those things all matter greatly because they affect the overall quality of the product, especially because a game's stability is essential to being able to, actually play the game as well as not breaking immersion. But for every criticism I see in line with that, I start to see the other side. This game looks empty. Where are the stages? This game looks soulless. Where's all the color and variety? But what I feel like these comments are really adding up to is, hey, this game is different, and I don't like that. If there's anything I've taken note of over the years of being a Sonic fan, is that a good chunk of the community hate change. There's an expectation that Sonic should always fit into a very specific box and never deviate from those expectations. But when we look at Sonic through that type of lens, we're really just leading ourselves towards stagnation and disappointment. So it just becomes this never-ending cycle of Sonic Team trying to play it safe and failing to meet expectations for players and reviewers. Failing to reviewers because the games are unpolished nightmares, and failing to players because it doesn't feel one-to-one with their classic or adventure sensibilities. And when this happens, we come back to people saying, wow, I wish Sonic Team would take a chance and do something different. Which, if I'm being honest, it's the ultimate cope. It's a straight up lie. You don't want something different. You've ridden the same bicycle for so long that you can never accept the idea of owning a new one. Let me try to break it down like this. Sonic is an order of chicken tenders. God, what a stupid fucking sentence. So classic Sonic is chicken tenders with barbecue sauce, while modern Sonic is chicken tenders with sweet and sour sauce. You go to restaurants and order nothing but chicken tenders with different sauces. They're reliable, trustworthy, and the quality of the tenders might not always be the best, but it's familiar and you have things to enjoy about it. But then one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? I think I want to get a steak today. So you get all ramped up and you go to the restaurant and you order that steak. And it comes to the table, you cut into it and you take a bite and you're instantly upset because it isn't the chicken tenders that you've been eating for 30 years straight. Frontiers is that steak. Now I know this is probably a stretch to some, but anytime I've seen Sonic lean towards being slightly out of his established elements, folks are ready to dunk on him, even with something as simple as Wisps. Unleashed is also a game that comes to mind. Now whether you love it or hate it, it did take Sonic in a different direction and take a gamble, but it was very bold of Sonic Team to assume that players of a Sonic game would want to play something with God of War-esque combat. It at least gets points for having a whole lot of heart though. Now it's time to talk about Voldemort, or Sonic 06. Regardless of its legacy of being one of the most hated games of all time, it's one of the last Sonic games to me that feel like it really went out of its way to do something different. It has enough variety in gameplay that it was actually kinda fun. The story's weird, but even that took some extreme chances. So while the game gets no pat on the back for its stability, it does get a gold star for stepping up to the plate and trying to actually take a swing. Another game that I hear people dunk on is Sonic Lost World. Every time I hear that game get brought up, somebody always has some shit to say about it that isn't good. And honestly, that game is way better than people give it credit for. Now, I really don't want the takeaway from this video to be, oh my god, Jad is talking about 06 before Frontiers, because I'm not wishing omens. I'm simply saying that we've had attempts at different and we were quick to spit on the devs. But that's how gaming has been for a while now. We're ready to pounce and be angry rather than give things an actual chance. Most folks are quick to focus on failure than giving even the slightest of props for things that games do well. It's something that we are all unfortunately guilty of. We see some gameplay, we riot. We see stills, we riot. They don't have Crush 40, we riot. You see that Sonic's arm to glove ratio is off, you probably have a full-on fucking Twitter meltdown. But hey, for me personally, I think Frontiers looks banging. And I'm very excited to play it. I'm in the club that's had the chicken tenders for far too long, and I'm beyond ready to have that metaphorical steak once again. I'm looking forward to sharing my experiences with you all, as I will be streaming the game as soon as it releases. Good, bad, ugly, I'm ready to fucking see it, man. Alright. Regardless of the game's final overall outcome, I'm just happy to see Sonic Team trying different things again. Sonic has been needing this level of facelift for far too long, and fingers crossed that the wait was worth it. Are you hyped for Frontiers? Do you already got it pre-ordered? Do you think it's the worst game ever made? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I will be streaming the game on launch day, so make sure to follow me on Twitter for updates on when that will be going down. Make sure to drop a like, and if you're new, mash the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. As promised, the lucky channel member to get shouted out in this video is Cosmic Productions. Thank you for recently becoming a channel member. If you would like to possibly get a shout out at the end of a video, or you just want to support me making future content, you can become a member down below. My content would not be possible without the support of my channel members and community. Thank you all. I'll see y'all later on those new frontiers, and always remember, no brain, just aim.